If you want a snapshot of the kind of surreality that dominates right-wing thinking, the renewed national anxiety over the state of our healthcare system is the perfect vantage point from which to see it. Against the shrieks of socialism and the dishonest rabble-rousing over death panels, the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, was passed in 2008 and phased in over a period of years. It was not the progressive vision of a single-payer system, not unlike what most of the industrialized world enjoys, including England, France, Germany, Canada, etc. The right saw it as a big government takeover, even though it was a concept that had its origins in the Nixon administration and later the Heritage Foundation, and was a cause célèbre Tea Partiers and fanatics used to ride a populist wave in the 2010 midterm elections. It was a law that pleased almost no one, politically speaking, in the end. But that's not to say no one was pleased. If you were one of the millions and millions of Americans whose basic safety and financial security was for decades imperiled by a pseudo-capitalistic healthcare insurance system, the law was a step in the right direction. People often forget the healthcare world that preceded this one. Forget government death panels. You wouldn't have the luxury of a panel at all if you overran your coverage before the ACA, or if your insurance company discovered you had failed to disclose a pre-existing condition. For many, health insurance itself was unaffordable under the best of conditions. When a single night in the emergency room could wipe out your savings, anyone dumb or unlucky enough to find herself without health insurance, or to have it stripped when the insurance company contrived a way to cancel your coverage, was risking financial ruin for the crime of discovering an illness. Republicans vowed from the beginning that they would repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Their surrogates and politicians in the media and on Capitol Hill have been parroting the line so often and for so long it could work as a fast food jingle. The only problem is, we've had a game of show and tell going on for a decade now. The Republicans are telling you everything about a replacement, but showing you nothing. For years, they got away with this mantra because, frankly, nobody in the establishment took them seriously. Even President Obama's eyes glaze over comically when he's asked to ponder the political ramifications of stripping health care from millions of citizens who had only too recently found that the foundational pillars of the law, ending lifetime caps on coverage, scrapping pre-existing conditions, requiring employers to insure more part-time workers, and expanding Medicaid, were more than thanks Obama conveniences. They saved people's fucking lives. One of the most frustrating, I'd even say enraging, parts of Hillary Clinton's arrogant and failed cabal-turned-campaign for president was her reluctance to brand Republicans the way Republicans brand Democrats. She wouldn't have had to lie like they did when they labeled the ACA a socialist healthcare plan, a plan that not only kept private insurance companies completely intact, but mandated employers and individuals within certain income brackets sign up for private coverage. Instead of going on offense, Clinton opted for the cooler heads prevail / I want to be the president for everyone approach. The rest is history. Our purpose here is not to rehash yesterday's news or sing the laments of our fathers, but if you consider our current national outrage at the idea of repealing the Affordable Care Act without a replacement, you're suddenly met with something so stupidly obvious I can't even believe I have to point it out, because it should be tattooed on every Republican's forehead until the end of time. Of these United States, 32 of them have either expanded Medicaid coverage in accordance with the law or negotiated an alternative plan that amounted to expanded coverage. Iowa, with our sinkhole for cash private corporate plan, opted for the latter strategy and is now facing a shortfall of over $30 million. 17 states, and pay attention now, decided to not expand Medicaid at all. This is a program that directly benefits the poorest and most vulnerable members of our society, or rather does not benefit them, because if you live in the familiar Republican haunts, the Old South, Texas, or the sparsely populated, religion-dominated Bible Belt, you did not experience the expansion of coverage. In those states, the Republican Party apparatus deliberately blocked an expansion of health care for the poor after waging a crusade against any reforms of any kind to begin with. Republicans did that. Not Democrats. Not independents, not Gary Johnson in Aleppo, Republicans. They have been rabidly opposed to all proposed health care reforms and are now vowing to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act with a yet unseen replacement. In recent weeks, they swarmed to ready the process of repealing without a replacement in the middle of the night. Boss Trump, per his usual, has been everywhere and nowhere on the subject, aside from reminding the public at every rally and public appearance that
Obamacare is a disaster.
Trump has put forward no specific plan, or general plan, or really any plan at all. My fellow Americans, we may indeed find Congress willing to come to its senses and pass a patch or two for the ACA, call it a repeal, and then promptly call it a day. They may even wander toward a single-payer system, which from what we can glean from Trump's non-specific and rambling public statements appears to be his preference. But we would be fools to think that the Republican Party, the same party that blocked a Medicaid expansion from reaching millions of poor, struggling, and often desperate people, is going to turn around and as a matter of conscience restrain its radical wing from repealing until a replacement plan has had a full public hearing. Because this is about people's lives. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Donald Trump, and I'm talking to you, Paul Ryan, Mr. #BetterWay, Mr. Unified Republican Government. From where I'm sitting, you've offered nothing but disunity on the subject of health care. Trump says everyone will be covered and someone else rushes to walk it back. Paul Ryan says there will be a replacement plan simultaneous to the repeal, but so far he and his Republican pals are showing up like they're your best friend, grinning with their dicks in hand and nothing else. Well, sorry. I didn't buy Trump's Fantasia bullshit during the campaign, and I'm not buying your reassurances now. The Republican Party blocked access to health care for poor people in their own states and drug a health care law people suddenly realize they love through the mud year after year, election after election, with no effort whatsoever to fix any part of the law that is broken. Well, guess what? It's not the election anymore. Nobody cares about your politics. If you fuck this up, usher us backward to the era of pre-existing conditions and predatory insurance, people are going to go broke, they're going to continue to get sick, and some of them are going to die. And it will be your fault. Luane and I are not strict partisans. I wouldn't pull a hair to give a Democrat credit if Trump, McConnell, and Ryan managed to ram through a single-payer system. But I'm not counting on it, and I'm not trusting them while we wait. Show us the plan, the final plan, the unified Republican plan, and if it passes muster, I'll support it. I'll call my congressmen and senators and tell them to support it. I'll come back on this broadcast and sing the law's praises. Fuck, I'll probably get a little bit misty-eyed while we talk about how wrong we were, how much better Trump's plan is, and how much better off we all are now that he rammed it through. Find a conservative who will tell you that. But as free thinkers and fans of the immortal children's television series Avatar: The Last Airbender, we have to accept that hope is an illusion. Republicans have given us no reason to trust and every reason to verify constantly. As a party, they have shown no interest in governance or the welfare of their people for the past 8 years, only obstruction, manipulation, and the politics of race baiting and anti-intellectualism. As Obama reminded the nation in light of Trump's victory, to govern is to choose. So here's your choice, Joe Blow Republican. Here's your choice, Trump voter. Either step up to the plate with your plan, the one unified plan we've been promised, or step the fuck aside.